There are moments in life that don't scream, they whisper. Moments that pass silently, but shift everything. Bob Proctor lived one of those moments. Before the books, before the seminars, before the stage lights and the thousands chanting his name. He was lost. A high school dropout. Broke. Confused. He wasn't lazy. He simply didn't know how to win. And like millions of others, he was trapped in a mental loop of limitation, doubt, and failure. But then, something changed. Not outside of him, inside of him. It wasn't luck. It wasn't opportunity. It was awareness. He discovered the concept that would shape not just his life, but the lives of millions around the world. Paradigm shift. A phrase so simple, but a force so powerful that once you understand it, you cannot go back. A paradigm is not just a habit. It's a program. A set of beliefs, behaviors, and thought patterns installed in your subconscious, running your life without your permission. It's why people stay broke. It's why people stay afraid. It's why talent dies without ever being seen. Bob realized if he wanted to change his results, he had to change the program running his life. That wasn't taught in schools. That wasn't given by the government. That wasn't offered by society. But he took it. He found it. He installed it. And that decision changed everything. He started with a book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and a single quote exploded inside his mind. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Bob didn't just read the words. He absorbed them. He repeated them. He lived them. And then, he acted. One book turned into a habit. One idea turned into a vision. And that vision turned into a new life. But not just because he was inspired, because he shifted his internal paradigm. The program changed, and with it, so did the results. This was the beginning, not of success, but of understanding. The quiet revolution of inner control. The subtle power of self-image. The war inside, between who you've been and who you're becoming. This is the paradigm shift. And Bob Proctor became its loudest voice. The invisible enemy. Why do most people live the same life year after year? Why do their results rarely change, even when they desperately want them to? The answer is hidden. It's not in their job, not in their family, not in their country. It's in their subconscious paradigm. You see, we are not born with limitations. We are programmed with them. From the moment we open our eyes, we are fed beliefs, taught fears, and given rules, not based on truth, but on tradition. Money doesn't grow on trees. Be realistic. Play it safe. Don't dream too big. These phrases sound normal, but they form your paradigm, a mental program running beneath your awareness 24 hours a day. It controls how you think, how you feel, what you believe is possible. And here's the truth. Bob Proctor screamed for decades. You can never outperform your paradigm. No matter how hard you try, no matter how many books you read, if your subconscious program says you're average, you'll always sabotage greatness. That's why people stay stuck. They change jobs but not results. They try new strategies but not new thinking. They set big goals but never cross the line. Bob Proctor understood this pain. He had lived it. And when he changed his paradigm, his entire world shifted. He didn't get smarter. He didn't become luckier. He simply got aligned. The inside and the outside finally matched. He realized you don't need to hustle more. You don't need another degree. You need to change the belief system driving your actions. And that begins with awareness. You can't change what you can't see, and most people never see their own program. They think they're in control, but they're not. They're reacting to life, not creating it. Bob taught, if you want to change your income, your relationships, your health, you must go to the root, and the root is your paradigm. The enemy is invisible, but once you expose it, you can destroy it. That's the power of a paradigm shift. It doesn't require years. It doesn't require struggle. It requires a decision, followed by repetition. And this decision is where transformation begins. Reprogramming the mind, step by step. If your life is a reflection of your paradigm, then the only way to change your life is to change the paradigm itself. But how? Bob Proctor didn't just discover this secret, he decoded it. And he taught the world the exact steps to reprogram the subconscious mind. A formula, a method, a mental revolution. Because if your thoughts are on autopilot, you can't escape the past until you reprogram the pattern. Step 1. Clarity of desire. Most people don't get what they want in life because they don't know what they want. Bob's first step was always this: decide what you really want. Not what you think you can get, what you truly want. No logic, no limits, just vision. Because the subconscious responds to clarity. Vague goals create vague results, but a crystal clear desire creates direction, emotion, and movement. Step 2. Write it down in the present tense. Bob believed writing is more than words. It's creation. He taught people to write their goal as if it's already done. I am so happy and grateful now that That one sentence, repeated daily, becomes a command to your subconscious, not a wish, a direction. You're no longer asking the world, you're telling your mind, and the mind listens. Step 3. Emotional involvement. The subconscious doesn't respond to logic, it responds to feeling. You can say affirmations all day long, but if you don't feel them, they won't stick. That's why Bob emphasized this: feel it, see it, live it, before it happens. He trained people to close their eyes and enter the scene, to act from it, not toward it. When the emotion connects to the idea, the paradigm begins to bend. Step 4. Repetition and consistency. The mind doesn't change with a single event. It changes with repetition. Day after day. Same vision, same goal, same belief. Just like a muscle in the gym, you don't grow it with one workout. You build it with daily effort. Bob told his students, repetition is the mother of learning. It's also the mother of transformation. This is how a paradigm is rewritten, not by force, but by consistent emotional repetition. This is not magic. It's not luck. It's not hype. It's mental reprogramming. And Bob Proctor mastered it. He built his fortune. He transformed his mind. He shifted his paradigm. And then spent the rest of his life teaching others to do the same. Not just to think positively, but to live intentionally. This is how the shift begins. This is how the cycle ends. And this is how the new version of you is born. The formula in action. Bob Proctor didn't just talk about paradigm shift, he lived it, and he passed it on to everyone willing to listen. Thousands of people came to him lost, stuck, overwhelmed, and one by one, they walked away transformed, not because their world changed, but because they changed the way they saw the world. Bob taught that your outer world is a mirror. It reflects what's happening inside you. If you think small, you'll live small. If you expect failure, you'll attract it. If you see yourself as average, life will never give you more than average. He used his formula. First, clarify what you want. Then write it down in the present tense. Feel it with intensity, and repeat it with belief, over and over again, until your mind begins to believe it's already true. He told his students to look in the mirror and see the person they were becoming, to carry themselves like winners, even before they won, to walk, talk, and act like the future version of themselves. Because your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. And if you imagine with emotion, you change your identity. And when your identity changes, your reality follows. Bob wasn't teaching positive thinking. He was teaching deep transformation. The kind that shifts the way you wake up, the way you speak, the way you take action, the way you demand more from yourself. One woman came to him with nothing but debt and depression. She applied the process. Within months, she started her own business. A year later, she was financially free. A young man with no direction started writing his goals daily. He visualized success before he ever touched it. Within 5 years, he built a $1 million brand. This wasn't coincidence. It was alignment. And it all started with a paradigm shift. Bob said over and over again, "You don't need to work harder. You don't need more hours in the day. You need a new program running your mind. Your beliefs control your behavior, and your behavior controls your results. If you want new results, start with a new belief, and build that belief until it replaces the old one." This is not motivation. This is reprogramming. This is the science of results. And once you know it, once you apply it, you never go back. This is the formula, and it works every single time. The shift in identity. The most powerful change is not in your income, not in your relationships, not in your achievements. The most powerful change is in who you believe you are. Bob Proctor knew this truth better than anyone. He taught that success is not something you chase, it's something you attract by the person you become. Everything begins with your identity. If you see yourself as broke, every opportunity will feel like a risk. If you see yourself as weak, every challenge will look impossible. If you see yourself as unworthy, no amount of success will ever be enough. But if you shift your identity, you shift your destiny. Bob encouraged people to create a new mental image of themselves, not just a better version, but a completely elevated version. The kind of version that thinks big, acts bold, and believes without fear. He didn't just say, think rich, he said, feel rich, walk rich, live rich, even when your bank account says 0. Because the subconscious mind doesn't care about the outside world. It only listens to the signals you give it every single day. If those signals are of fear, it gives you more reasons to fear. If those signals are of confidence, it opens doors you couldn't see before. Your identity becomes your lens, and your lens creates your life. Bob changed the lives of millions by getting them to change their inner story, from victim to victor, from weak to warrior, from average to unstoppable. He taught that you don't wait for the world to recognize you. You recognize yourself first. You decide who you are. You act like it every single day until the world catches up. This is not ego. This is alignment. This is the paradigm shift. And once you shift who you are on the inside, the results on the outside start falling into place like pieces of a puzzle. Your environment starts changing. Your choices start changing. Your habits, your friends, your energy, your path, all of it begins to mirror the new identity you carry. The mind obeys the dominant picture, so give it a picture worth living. Stop seeing yourself as stuck. Stop calling yourself broken. Stop repeating the old story of failure. Write a new story. Build a new image. Act like the person you want to become. Because once your identity changes, everything else becomes inevitable. That's the truth Bob Proctor lived. That's the truth he shared. And that's the truth that still changes lives today. The enemy within. Everyone wants success, but most people are fighting the wrong battle. They blame the economy. They blame their past. They blame their family, their education, their surroundings. But the real enemy is inside.
It's not out there, it's in your head.
Bob Proctor understood this better than anyone. He called it the silent war. The battle between your conscious desires and your subconscious programming. You say you want success, but deep inside, you still believe you're not worthy. You say you want wealth, but the voice inside whispers that money is evil. You say you want to grow, but your habits are chained to your old self. The enemy is not lack of motivation. The enemy is the program that runs your life without you even knowing. And until you confront that enemy, nothing will change. Bob exposed that enemy. He didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't blame the system. He pointed the finger back at the individual. Not to shame, but to empower. Because if you created the beliefs holding you back, then you can create the ones that set you free. If you were programmed to live small, you can reprogram yourself to live boldly. If you were conditioned to follow, you can condition yourself to lead. The war within only ends when you choose to take full responsibility. Not 50%, not 99%, but 100% ownership of your life, your thoughts, your decisions, your patterns. Bob said the most liberating moment of your life is when you realize no one is coming to save you, and no one needs to, because you already have the power. It was never missing, just buried under layers of fear, doubt, and lies. You were born with the power to imagine, to decide, to act, and that power doesn't need permission. It needs direction. The enemy wants you to stay asleep, to keep reacting, to keep complaining, to stay trapped in a cycle that leads nowhere. But the moment you wake up, the moment you take back your mind, the enemy loses control. You become dangerous, unstoppable, free. That's the moment Bob lived for. The moment when a person sees clearly. I am not broken. I am not powerless. I am the creator of my life. This is not motivation. This is war. And victory begins with a decision.